want to start off our segment with public speaking, which is what I look up to you for, right? So let's burst some myths out there. I'll ask you a myth and you can tell me if it's true or not.
Okay.
My first one is, public speaking is an innate talent or is it a learned skill?
100% a learned skill. And I don't think that we are born confident, or confidence is either something that you either have or you don't. I think it's a skill that you can learn for sure.
All right. The next one, a good speech is all about the content.
Incorrect.
Why do you say that?
I say that because, 93% of your message is through nonverbal communication. And that is through body language, eye contact, hand gestures. Your message, people get the first impression of you within the first 11 seconds of meeting you. And that is before you even speak a word. So it's all in the body language. So I have to say no to that one.
All right. So the next one here is, more words mean a more effective speech.
I'm going to sound really cliche. I think less is more. If you are going to use more, make sure that those words are really relaying your message. No one wants waffle. Nobody wants waffle. So make your message concise and effective.
All right. You're bursting a lot of myths out there. So next one is, the audience is always critical and judgmental.
It's interesting because I do think that depends on perspective. Mm-hmm. If you do have that mentality or mindset that everyone is watching you, they're critiquing you, then of course, naturally, you're going to think that. I don't think the audience are that. I think they're quite empathetic, actually. And if they see someone struggling on stage or suffering with low self-confidence, if anything, they empathize with them and they actually want them to do well. When you see someone mess up, you're like, please, come on, get through it. I think the audience feel really empathetic.
Amazing. The next one is, public speaking is only for extroverts. And I think I kind of agree because I'm an introvert and I'm really trying to learn public speaking. Uh-huh. So I think I firmly grew up with the belief that public speaking is for extroverts.
Really? Interesting. Why? Because it just didn't feel natural to you?
Yeah, it takes a lot of effort for an introvert to come outside the shell and to present our opinions in public. It's not that easy.
So here's where I think we all have alter egos. Right? Because you telling me you're an introvert is such a shock to me because I feel like you're such an extrovert. So again, it's down to perception of ourselves, but alter egos are really important. I think this version of you hosting a podcast is potentially a very different version to you when you're, sitting at home with your friends maybe, or, meeting people for the first time. So I think we all have different versions of ourselves and we kind of tap into them in different moments of our life. So I would say that I was an introvert as well growing up. I still think I am. So I would have to disagree.
My last one is about anxiety, right? You must eliminate all the anxiety to be a really good speaker.
I don't think so. I think there's a difference between identifying anxiety and excitement. Mm-hmm. That feeling you get in the pit of your stomach when your favorite artist is performing at a concert and they're about to come on stage and you feel physically sick. You think you're like nervous and all of this stuff is actually excitement. Yeah. So it's identifying the difference between nervousness and excitement. And then once you've identified that, then you can tell how to tackle it.
But I have butterflies before every podcast I do, right? And I think some nervousness is really good because it helps you prepare for the session. You go in more prepared. But What tips do you have for anybody who's going into public speaking or hosting or anchoring? What would you suggest are the best preparation tips?
I would say that diet is super important. I mean, we all talk about this the moment we step onto the stage, but what about everything that happens in the 30 minutes to an hour before that? So that's diet. Foods to avoid is stuff like dairy, soft drinks, any fizz, chocolate, because what that all does is kind of like line your mouth with really thick mucus. And so your mouth is moving at a much slower rate than it should be. Therefore, you're also more prone to coughing and, things like this. So you need a very clear system before you go on. So I'd say diet is very important and breathing is essential. It sounds so simple. We all do it, subconsciously, unknowingly, but breathing intentionally, I think, is super important before going on and finding a technique that helps you calm down and really relax your nervous system.